Joining me now is somebody very interested, Adam Haynes from Army Motorsport. Adam, just tell us a little bit about Army Motorsport, what it represents.
So it represents teamwork within our organisation. As many people are aware, we have very extreme situations, but a lot of the time we like to have fun. Sport is key to us with our teamwork, leadership. So it's nice to get away, and it's nice for the Army to support going away and motor racing. I've been racing cadets since I was 8, moved all the way up to I was 17, and then I stopped when I joined the Army because of deployments. I was in the Army for 10 years, never knew the Army Motorsport existed, and then now it's growing bigger and bigger. Yeah, just got involved in it again, started the Pro Kart Endurance racing we do, which is Inter-Service Championship. It's a 3-hour race, six meetings a year. And we also do the Rotax class, Premier class, which I'm currently leading. Super 1 is obviously a massive thing, and when I saw the 177 guest class, I thought, you know what, I can do this and have a laugh and come have some fun and learn for my championship. So
you're racing as a guest this weekend, and if you're not registered for the championship, guys, you can do one guest round a year without registering for the championship, so bear that in mind. You're racing as a guest this weekend. Yeah. Conditions looking like they're going to be torrential now. It's raining very heavily at the moment.
I was hoping
How are you looking?
For a bit of rain. I was learning the track yesterday in the 2 6-minute practice sessions, so I had a tall order to get the kart ready and be competitive against some of the really good guys driving against. So I'm hoping for rain, hoping it will stir it up a bit and make it a little bit easier for me.
Okay, well, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's see how Adam Haynes gets on in this Rotax 177 race. He's going off P14, but it's Dan Martin on pole with Chris Thomas alongside last year's champion, this year's champion Louis Large. Bit surprising to see him on the grid. I'll explain why in a minute. He goes off P4, Alex Luck's off P2, Jamie Zara's up there. James Moorcroft won the British Open title last weekend at the Rotax Festival. Pick out your favourite drivers from the rest of the grid. The reason I say that I'm a bit surprised Louis Large is on the grid is because, quite frankly, he can't lose the championship now unless he's excluded from this race for some reason. So if it was me, if you win this race, you get 64 points. If you come last, you get 42 points. So he can't lose the championship. He's got a, 29-point championship lead. There's only a 22-point swing potential between first and last. If Thomas won it and Large came last, he would still win the championship. So the only way he can lose it is if he's excluded. As you see Chris Thomas making up a move, making a place up there in the dog leg. And it's Dan Martin out front leading it, pictured. The only way Louis Large can lose this is if he gets excluded from the race. Now, if you're leading the championship with a round to go and you cannot be beaten, you can't come to the last round and lose. You can't lose the championship by being excluded, even if you get excluded from the meeting. That's something that came in years ago. That is Louis Large pictured, this year's champion, providing nothing happens in this race, of course. We don't want to see that. So if you say there's 6 rounds and you can drop your worst score and you've won it by round 5, but you go to the last round anyway to race, that's why this rule was brought in, so that champions could still come and race at the final round without any fear of losing. However, that's not quite the case in this situation where we've got no drop scores. This is the last round for this class, and with it being the last round, you can still be excluded, and that would count towards your total score. So if he was excluded from the race, he wouldn't score any points, and as a consequence, he would lose the championship. So for that reason alone, I'm surprised to see the 13 kart as he goes down the inside of Alex Luck, but can't quite get past. Alex Luck there in second place. Daniel Martin clearing off, by the way, out front. I am a bit surprised to see the 13 kart still on the track. because the only way he can lose it now is if he gets involved in something and is excluded from the race, because that would mean, I mean, even being underweight, for example, God forbid being underweight in the Rotax 177 class, of course. This is the one where diets are simply not allowed, this class. You're not allowed to go on a diet. Simple as that. Jamie Zyra, meanwhile, looking at the action, left of your screen, just made up a place in the last sector, so he's up to 4th place. Chris Thomas has dropped to 5th, last year's champion. I will say this, I'm going to predict this. You're talking about Chris Thomas, the 2017 champion. He's racing against the 2018 champion here on the 13 kart, Louis Large. But Chris Thomas will be the 2019 champion. Yeah, you heard it here first. I'm tipping Chris Thomas to have a big comeback next year. I hope Louis Large is still here. I hope still racing together, because Chris Thomas will not like having his championship taken off him. He won it comfortably last year. Louis Large, to be fair, was on fire early on in the championship this year and has created a nice championship lead for himself, but he's just lost the position there. That looks like Jamie Zyra going past Louis Large. It is. So Zyra now up to, well, it says 4th place there, but it's 3rd place in reality, because Darren Whaley is not in 1st place. There he goes. It's been corrected now. It's down to 18th place. Chris Thomas goes by Louis Large. So Thomas, that's up to, what, 4th place for Thomas. Louis Large trying to fight back, but can't quite get the job done. Daniel Martin puts in the fastest lap. He's on fire out front. I don't think we're going to see much of him in this race, to be fair, the way things are going. These are the battles on the track that we're interested in. That's Thomas in front of Large, and behind Louis Large, he's got Charlie Whaley putting pressure on him. Talking about putting pressure on him, he's putting severe pressure on the 2018 champion, assuming he doesn't get excluded, that is. So Alex Rowley there in 7th. You've got Ian Bramfield in 8th, rounding out the top 10. Oliver Smith and Tim Darlow. The Coles Racing man it is that leads comfortably. Daniel Martin, we're not going to see much of him, I don't think, in this race, because he's already, what, 3.99 seconds clear, 4 seconds clear, and he's around about half a second a lap quicker than anybody else. I say half a second a lap, make that, well, more like 7/10 of a second over Chris Thomas. Chris Thomas on the 1 car is the 2nd fastest man on the track. 7/10 of a second behind the race leader he is, so I'm expecting Daniel Martin just to clear off here. 5 seconds is his lead over Alex Luck. Jamie Zyra's 3rd, Thomas in 4th, Charlie Whaley in 5th place. Louis Large there, this year's champion, assuming there's no exclusion. He's down to 6th, maybe taking a view on it as Zyra goes through to 2nd, drops Luck down to 3rd. Luck now gets dropped down to 4th by Chris Thomas, who goes by, so Thomas up to 3rd. Luck now down to 4th place. Those positions will change as they go across the line. I say they'll change as they go across the line. We've put Charlie Whaley back in position there. Ian Rogers, right, the timekeeper, right on it, noticing there was a problem with the transponder of Charlie Whaley, putting him back into 5th place straight away. So as they went across the line, it was Martin from Zyra, Thomas Luck, Whaley top 5, then Louis Large, Alex Rowley, Ian Branfield, Oliver Smith and Jason Wilson now rounding out the top 10. Tim Darlow down in 12th place, started 16th. He's made up 4, and Ross Meakin started 18th. He's made up 5. We come down bottom bend onto the bottom straight. The camera we had covering bottom straight has given up the ghost, so that will be down the repair shop later in the week, no doubt. But Alex Luck here, as he is battling for 4th place. So Thomas has pulled a bit of a gap, and Louis Large, Charlie Whaley again being put back into position. So there's a problem with Whaley's transponder, could be due to the inclement conditions. Dan Martin now puts in another fastest lap at 50.3. How does that compare? Well, Jamie Zyra is on a 51.1. Versus, so he's 0.8 of a second quicker than anybody else on the track, as Charlie Whaley now tries to depose Alex Luck for that 4th spot. Whaley in 5th. Oh, and indeed, I think just out of shot of the cameras, I think he has got by, has in fact got by. So Charlie Whaley now up to 4th. Alex Luck in danger, now losing a top 5 spot here. That is Whaley, that's Luck on the 4. He's got Louis Large right behind him, putting the pressure on. That is Large on the 13 behind Alex Luck. So he come through the line. And just when I was expecting Louis Large perhaps to settle for a position to take the championship, He's having none of that. He's going past Alex Luck, so he's back up into 5th place for the champion-elect as they come through the loop one more time. And Alex Luck is out of luck as Large goes by. And looking to go by also is the man in behind. That's Alex Rowley there on the 64. Leading rookie, by the way, is Daniel Martin, who leads the race by, 7 seconds pretty much, as things stand currently, as they come towards us through bottom bend into the bottom straight, just outside of the cameras for a fraction, and then back towards us now into the left-hander, which is the elbow, brings you up into the final turn. Daniel Martin out front, by the way, was I think in the pre-final earlier, was down to something like 5th place and managed to battle his way back to the win. That's given him pole position for this, and clearly these conditions he's absolutely revelling in, well clear of anybody else. And again, as I said earlier, sort of 0.8 of a second as he puts in sector 1, the fastest sector 1 of the race. Quite remarkable in these conditions. He's still going faster and faster, and the rest of the guys got no response. They're battling for the minor positions. 62 in the shot there, just going through was Chris Wright. Danny Russell's in this race as well. First appearance, I think, for Danny this year on the 48 kart, but I think I pegged him as the championship favourite at the beginning of the year, not realising he wasn't going to take part in most of the rounds. That's Alex Rowley on the 64. Alex Luck in behind. Alex struggling in the conditions, no doubt about it. Not sure he's happy with the setup on the kart. He's not happy with the setup on the kart now because he spins out into West Bend. No contact whatsoever, all his own work. So Alex Luck is out of luck. We're going to look at Ian Bramfield on the 46. This is a battle for 10th place, I think it is. It's the 63 car, Jason Wilson, with the 62 car of Chris Wright down the inside, makes a sweet move. That is Chris Wright pictured. As Ross Meakin gets a warning flag for something. Meakin there in 11th place currently, as we look through the last sector. I say that. As I say that, he drops to 12th, so Ross Meakin down to 12th. So he had made up 7 places in the race, made up 6 places now. There is the warning flag for Meakin. Charlie Whaley's also made up 6 places in 4th place, as we're going to look at the 23 car of Adam Haynes. He is the man we interviewed earlier, the Army and Motorsport man, and goes up into the top 10 in its first appearance in the British Championships in truly atrocious conditions. A great effort by Adam Haynes for Army Motorsport, and into the top 10 goes Haynes, as you just see the positions change left of your screen, and losing another place now. Jason Wilson is going to drop down 1 more place, so that looks like he's dropped to 12th place to me. The positions should update left of your screen when they go through the sector, and indeed they do. So Meakin up to 11th, Jason Wilson down to 12th, started P11, Jason up to 10th, and now back to 12th. That is the 2019 champion. You heard it here first, Chris Thomas, the 2019 champion, going through there in 3rd place, 10 seconds behind Daniel Martin, 10 seconds. These conditions do lead to big gaps and big wins. If you've got the right setup on your car, if you love the conditions, they can really play into your hands. And this weekend, Daniel Martin, they've played into his hands no end, the world champion, the Wessex champion, played into his hands no end. As we come towards the business end then, warning flag for Tim Darlow. Where is Tim? He is down there in 14th place, so I don't know what's happening down there for him to get a warning flag, but a warning flag he has. And Chris Thomas about to come under pressure now here from Charlie Whaley, and Whaley himself under a bit of pressure from Louis Large. So Louis not giving it up, is he? He's not content with just sitting there and taking the championship win. He wants position, he wants track position. I think he's looking for a podium for Louis Large in the final race of the season for this Rotax 177 class. Down to the dog leg one more time. The 64 kart going through the picture. That was Ian Bramfield with Oliver Smith right behind him. Chris Wright there in 9th. And Adam Haynes, as I said earlier, up into the top 10. So the Army Motorsport man having a great day here at his first visit to the Super 1 British Karting Championships and doing the Army proud. We've counted down to 0 on the clock, but the race leader went through with seconds still to spare, so it's 2 laps basically remaining as it come out of the top straight in through this part of the circuit, the loop, out from the loop into Top Bend. That brings you out onto the back straight and down to the dogleg. Again, a very good overtaking opportunity at the dogleg, but when you do go up the inside, it does compromise your exit speed because it's such a narrow hairpin, the tightest hairpin in British karting, probably the tightest hairpin I would imagine, certainly one of them in the world, unless you know something different. If you've got a tighter hairpin than this one here, then let us know. We're into the last lap for the race leader. This is pretty much our first look at him the entire race, and we don't see much of him, but we'll go back to him. Here we go. This is through the loop for the last time. Daniel Martin, what a commanding performance. Jamie Zyra's been quick this weekend, although Thomas putting Zyra under pressure, just half a second behind him now. But Zyra is over 11 seconds behind this man, who is going to, I'm pretty sure, just hold on to this. He's not going to chuck it off now. Way too experienced for that is Daniel Martin. It's the 77 going through, 67 going through the shot was Adam Sadler. I think it was our first look at Adam during the race. But here's the race winner. It's Daniel Martin taking the final race of the Rotax 177 season. And is he happy about that? You betcha. It's Martin that wins it. It's going to be Jamie Zyra 11 seconds down the road. Here he is. Is it going to be Zyra, or is Thomas going to get him in the last corner? No, he's not. It's Zyra from Thomas, second and third. Charlie Whaley right there in fourth place. Louis Large, the championship winner, comes through in fifth from Alex Rowley in Bradfield. Oliver Smith, the 62 kart, was Chris Wright in ninth and Adam Haynes in 10th. Ross Meakin 11th, Adam Sadler 12th, but there was a front fairing penalty for Ross Meakin. That was probably why he got that warning earlier in the race. It drops him out the top 12. Daniel Martin, world champion to Super 1 winner. Oh, sorry, Wessex champion to Super 1 winner. What a great weekend for you.
Yeah, it was great fun. The dry yesterday was challenging with Chris Thomas. He was on fire yesterday, and we knew it was going to be a totally different day today, so we were just really pleased to set the car up and get the win.
And you came from quite a way behind, didn't you?
For the first one, I dropped back to fifth, I think. For final one, finished out by 7 seconds ahead, and then that one was lights the flag, 10.8 seconds I think it was at the end. Yeah. So it was a good result.
Yeah, very good result. Who do you want to thank for your win?
Coles Racing, my dad, mum, Serena, the wife. Also Ogden, great engines. I think it was 1, 2, 3 in the class, so I'm sure he's happy. And Tom Adams, he's my hero.
There's no truth in the rumour that Dan is already doing a rain dance for 2019. Louis Large is the 2018 champion. Expect Chris Thomas to provide a bigger challenge though next season. Join us for more race action in part 6.